Hi, this is Raylene, and welcome to Khaleesi Clues. I just wanted to pre-warn everyone that this video may contain spoilers. I will be talking mostly about my theories based off of clues I have found in A Song of Ice and Fire novels and in both HBO show series for Game of Thrones and The House of the Dragon. This video is going to be a bit different from any of the previous videos I have ever done. I usually have a personal intro followed by a slideshow of pictures that go along with whatever I am talking about. The truth is, I struggle with getting any extra time to make my videos, so please excuse the lack of images to go along with my text. It's just going to be one image or maybe a couple of images and me talking about this amazing story. It's been quite a long time since my last video. I didn't mean to leave you all on such a long cliffhanger there, but hopefully I can make up for that with some of my latest clues and theories that I have continued to work on for the past couple of years. I have so much to tell you all, but let me just start with a little review. The last video I made was titled Jon Snowed, and it talked about how I believed the ending of the HBO Game of Thrones series was not the actual end of the complete story for George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire novel series. As of this time, the last book in the series, titled A Dance with Dragons, basically ends with the death of Jon Snow. I think we are all pretty positive that we will see the resurrection of Jon Snow towards the beginning of the next book to be released, titled Winds of Winter. Now, it is my belief that towards the end of Winds of Winter is where we will have the death of Daenerys Targaryen. Then, for his final novel, to be released titled A Dream of Spring, I think we will get the resurrection of Daenerys Targaryen towards the beginning. That way, we will have the mirroring fates that we have seen so much for the two characters. Oh, and a slight change from my last video is how I had thought that Bran had possibly already warged into Drogon after Daenerys' death, which may have been the reason for Drogon not killing Jon. My theory is now leaning more towards the idea that it was actually Daenerys who has warged into Drogon, just as many fans believe Jon will warg into Ghost after his death. I know it has not been established that Dany is a warg, but keep an open mind. I definitely think there are clues in the story that may support this idea. I think she actually wargs her silver horse that Drogo gives her as a wedding gift. I also believe she wargs Drogo while they are having sex. Not to mention that Dany slipping into Drogon after her death will probably mirror what we will see for Jon's death experience with slipping into Ghost once Winds makes it to the shelves. Drogon not roasting Jon may have been the result of Daenerys' ability as a warg to control Drogon. This would also explain the reason why Drogon melted the Iron Throne. Since Jon has revealed his true identity as Aegon Targaryen to Daenerys, she may believe that Jon killed her in order to become the next ruler and sit the Iron Throne. Similar to Ygritte not being able to kill Jon when he left her to warn the Night's Watch of the coming attack by the wildlings. This also explains how Drogon would then know to pick up Daenerys' body and carry her off back to possibly Quaithe or whoever George ends up connecting her story with to resurrect her. Like I said in my latest video, the real war is yet to come. Winter is still coming. The war of life and death. The Red War. Towards the end of my last video, I had stated that the Night King was actually the good guy and the cute little children of the forest were the bad guys. I know it probably sounds like an absolutely crazy theory, but please understand, I base my ideas off of clues that I have found. The real war that is yet to come is with the children of the forest. I know it's hard to believe. I'm sure you are all probably asking how this can even be possible when we watch the handful of children of the forest sacrifice themselves in the final season, bravely trying to save Bran from the Night King. You may be thinking there is not enough numbers of the children of the forest to even wage war against mankind. All good points, but here is what I believe. The children of the forest are not what we see. I believe that they are possibly glamored, wargs, or even shapeshifters. My thoughts are that the true image of the children of the forest may be more gargoylish in appearance, fierce, terrifying monsters, which are also words that you may use to describe a dragon. Yet the children of the forest are a bit shrunken, and one may say misshapen. That should sound familiar too. Something else they have in common with the words that have been used to describe the last Targaryen dragons that were hatched prior to Drogon, Viserion, and Rhaegal. Well, that may not be too much of a coincidence after all, because I do believe the children of the forest are dragons too. The children of the forest are blood of the dragon, or dragonkin. These, I believe, are the dragons that in the newest HBO series, The House of the Dragon, King Viserys warns Rhaenyra about the first episode. Here is the quote I'm referring to. The idea that we control the dragons is an illusion. They are a power man should never have trifled with, one that brought Valyria its doom. If we don't mind our histories, it will do the same to us. And a flashback quote from Littlefinger from the original Game of Thrones series, from Peter Littlefinger Baelish. Do you know what the realm is? It is the thousand blades of Aegon's enemies, a story we agree to tell each other over and over until we forget that it's a lie. That last line, a story we agree to tell each other over and over until we forget that it's a lie, I think that is referring to what we know about the children of the forest. History is a lie. The children of the forest did not help mankind fight off the Night King in the first long night. They created him. I think we will find out it was the opposite. The Night King may have helped man to fight off the children of the forest. Think about it. Brynden Rivers is being held hostage in their underground bunker, all tied up by the roots of the weirwood tree. All of the children of the forest around him with all their weapons and magical power, yet not one of them cut through those roots and set him free. No, that tree is hungry, and they fed and wed him to that tree. Those spells they placed to keep the Night King out is because he was trying to get into his fellow blood of the dragonkin, Brynden Rivers, and set him free or kill him and put him out of his misery. The Night King cannot talk because his vocal cords are basically frozen, kind of similar to how Catelyn Stark's voice is changed from having her throat damaged so bad from the Red Wedding. Once the Night King finally was able to get in to Brynden, we see the pause before the Night King gives him mercy, finally releasing him from his horrible captivity and torture. As for the question of their numbers, there can't possibly be enough to make war on mankind, right? Well, I believe their numbers are far more than what we have ever seen or heard of from the show or books. They have had hundreds or thousands of years to multiply and strengthen. Even if they don't have enough population to outnumber man, they don't need to. We saw what they could do with one Night King and an ever-growing army of the dead. They could easily have multiple Night King commanders with an uncountable amount of dead soldiers. They may even have more ice dragons, more whites, shadowcats, and polar bears. Oh my. Besides, I think we are going to find out that they have thousands of them, like a bunch of ants burrowing under the ground. Now you might think that is impossible. Where would they be hiding all of these things? Think of this. At the beginning of the show, the majority of the story centered around Westeros, and as the story grew, it expanded into Essos, right? And then it expanded again north of the wall, and we also dipped into Dorne. Well, I'm telling you it is going to expand yet again. Let me quote Arya Stark. What's west of Westeros? How about a frozen, apocalyptic land teeming with a huge army of the dead, Night King commanders, ice dragons, and any beast that can be used against mankind? On one side of the world, we have warmth, fire, light, and life. On the other side, I think there is cold, ice, night, and death, and it's all coming this way. Winter is still coming. We had the Red Wedding, and we will have the Red War. The children of the forest have found a way to make a glamour so strong that they cannot be detected. We are familiar with how Melisandre uses a ruby necklace to glamour herself. She also creates a glamour for Mance with Rattleshirt's bones. There is also a possibility that a character named Maynard Plum from the Duncan Egg stories that is possibly Brynden Rivers using a moonstone as a glamour. Yet these glamours are not foolproof, and some can see through them at times. Take, for instance, a quote from Duncan the Tall's thoughts about Maynard Plum's appearance. It reads, "This close, there was something queer about the cast of Sir Maynard's features. The longer Dunk looked, the less he seemed to see." And like Daenerys told Mira Mazdur, children grow and children learn. They sure do. They grow stronger and create a stronger glamour. They have learned to go undetected. I believe they are using a couple of different tactics. I believe they are possibly wearing the bodies of the freshly dead. That they have found a way to preserve these dead bodies for a very long time, but that they eventually do break down as the tissues begin to rot, swell, and stink. Then I think they have also improved their glamours by warging into live people and take over their existence completely. This, I think, is done to children at a younger age or even babies who are not strong enough yet to fight them out of their bodies. By using these flesh cloaks, they are basically undetectable to everyone. Some examples of these human cloaks are, I believe, Illyrio Mopatis, and I think his body is already beginning to break down, so he will probably be showing up with a new skin. Varys, I believe, is another possible contender, and I believe his body was taken over as a child. The memory he has of losing his parts, I believe, is from the actual event of the child he stole or took over the body from. Like they say, there's a little bit of truth in every lie. The same could be said for Peter Baelish. I think his body was taken over as a child, possibly at the Kermit's Cave located on his family's property in the Fingers. There are many more characters that I believe are also cloaked or glamoured children of the forest, such as Ramsay, Roose Bolton, Reek number 1, and I don't mean Theon, I mean Reek, the first one, Biter, and possibly Shay, and so many more, but that's just a few that I can think of off the top of my head. It's hard because I sometimes start suspecting everyone that has any signs of corruption. These clues have also led me to believe that the Faceless Men are definitely a part of the Children of the Forest, or maybe even the main hub for providing the fresh corpses. Varys even taunts Littlefinger in the show about supplying certain customers with fresh corpses for their pleasures? I also believe those two are working together. They act as if they are not, but that is all just part of the game. We know how dangerous the faceless men can be, as they can wear the face of anyone in order to infiltrate places and secretly assassinate their targets. Jaqen H'ghar, he's another one that I think is tied up with the Children of the Forest. The way he ends up taking over Pate's body there at the Citadel may be a clue to how this magic works. I don't think he sliced his face off there and took his identity. I think he drugged Pate, making him unable to fight the transition of taking over his body completely. Again, these are just my thoughts, and sometimes I can change them as I figure other clues that help put everything together. I literally have to read and dissect every chapter, line, and word at times because George is an absolute mastermind with wordplay. These books are layers of hidden stories within the main story. Everything that I have mentioned also ties Braavos in with all of the ships. The Children of the Forest have amassed a huge supply of ships that is ready and waiting to bring their army over from the other side. The absolute strongest weapons that mankind has against what is coming is the dragons, and they have nearly wiped them completely out of existence. That's why the doom of Valyria happened, to hopefully wipe out all dragons and dragon lords. That is also why it is so important for them to try and turn everyone against Daenerys and her dragons. Daenerys is not a mad queen. She is not crazy. She has been corrupted by the Children of the Forest. They have been putting something in her food or wine to corrupt her, just the same as they have done in the past with other Targaryens. It may even be happening on the current series, The House of the Dragon. We can see the corruption coming out of King Viserys' body. The wounds look similar to me, like what happened with the Mountain when he was poisoned. When Daenerys is attacked in the fighting pits of Meereen, and then escapes on the back of Drogon, he takes her back to the Dothraki Sea, and she begins walking on foot back to Meereen. That's when she starts getting sick, and people have debated back and forth if she has the flux or is she having a miscarriage. I think she is having a miscarriage, but at the same time, I think she is also going through withdrawals. I believe they have been corrupting her and building up the toxins within her system for quite some time. Once she is away from everyone in Meereen, I think her body starts going into withdrawals. All of this also causing a miscarriage. I will go into more detail about that in another video someday. Honestly, I think I have a theory on just about everything you can imagine with these books, so you will all just have to let me know in the comments what you want to hear about the most. In the final season for Game of Thrones, they show Varys talking to the child about Daenerys having to eat at some point. This is when she is on Dragonstone and she looks horrible. He has really been increasing the poison. The results of those poisons is what we saw when she lost her mind and burned King's Landing. I believe Varys may have been giving Daenerys a poison called basilisk's venom. The Faceless Men use a paste spiced with basilic blood, which gives meat a savory scent but includes a violent madness in it, any creature with warm blood, whether man or beast. Reportedly, a mouse will attack a lion after a taste of basilisk blood. There is another layer to this theory of mine. It's too much for one video, so I really have to end this video here. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to ask in the comments. You can also let me know what you want to hear about the most. Like I said, I have a theory for just about anything in this story. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for listening, and have a wonderful day.